You're up, Commissioner.
Okay, the Board of County Commissioners are back in session. I need a motion to go into the Board of Equalization.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we enter into the Board of Equalization.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, everybody that's going to participate in a 1 to 2 o'clock hearing will need to have the Chief Deputy swear you individuals in.
Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So this is our proceedings. This is a hearing of the Board of Equalization under Idaho Code 63501. The Board of County Commissioners is required to convene as the BOE. We are here to determine market value under Idaho Code 63205. All real, personal, and operating property subject to property taxation must be assessed annually at market value for assessment purposes as of 12:01 a.m. of the first day of January in the year in which such property taxes are levied. Furthermore, under Idaho Code 63502, the function of the Board of Equalization shall be confined strictly to assuring that the market value for assessment purposes of property has been found by the assessor, and to the functions provided for in Chapter 6, Title 63, Idaho Code relating to exemptions from taxation. It is hereby made the duty of the Board of Equalization to enforce and compel a proper classification and assessment of all property required under the provisions of this title to be entered on the property rolls, and in so doing, the Board of Equalization shall examine the rolls and shall raise or cause to be raised, or lower or cause to be lowered, the assessment of any property which in the judgment of the board has not been properly assessed. The taxpayer shall have the burden of proof in seeking affirmative relief to establish that the determination of the assessor is erroneous, including any determination of assessed value. The preponderance of the evidence shall suffice to sustain the burden of proof. We are here to discuss the market value of the property, the condition, state, or information that is relevant to this topic. This is fact, not conjecture, or things you may think. We are not here to discuss taxes, past grievances, policy, personal income, or other issues. If you do not stick to the discussion as requested, your time will be reclaimed. The hearing will go in this following manner. The property owner will have 3 minutes to tell their side. Then 2 questions from the assessor will come through the board, and then the assessor will have 3 minutes, and then questions will come to the board again. We'll give the appellant 2 minutes to answer any questions or comments on what the assessor says. The rules: be kind, direct all questions or comments to the board. If your conduct is out of line, you will be warned, and if your conduct continues to be out of line, you will be asked to leave the premises. All right, Mr. Losey, you're up first, please. Come up, state your name, and then your 3 minutes will begin. This timer right here, the light, will come on when you have 1 minute left. It'll go yellow, and then the red light and the buzzer will go off when your time is up.
My name is Justin Losey. Sorry. I'm here for assessment on my property tax value. I purchased the property around 5 years ago for an amount of about $10,000. As it was hard for the seller to sell it, it was purchased by me. He accepted an offer after it being on the market for several years as very hard to sell and very unusable land, very steep grade, very poor access. I didn't dispute when in these 5 years it went up, because I do understand that market value has changed and prices have went up, but I do see this year's current value as just being egregious and completely incorrect. I wasn't a sweetheart deal when I purchased the property. I mean, thought I kind of got suckered, and then to see the taxes raise so much on land that's inaccessible, hard to use, hard to maintain. There's no well, there's no septic tank, there's no permanent structures there, as other neighbors have built with better access on their land, but I don't have that capability to do so, as of this time.
Okay. And you're done?
For now, yes.
Okay. Any questions from the assessor's table?
Just one. He does, I believe he has a small shed cabin, not a full-on cabin, but I just wanted clarification. We
Okay.
show a shed cabin on that property. I was just
Okay,
double checking with the tenant if that is accurate.
all right. So there is a building, a
Yeah,
structure
I do
on
have
it?
non-permanent structures. I have a camper trailer and a Connex, mobile Connex. So all on axles, all on trailers. So,
All right, thank you. All right, the assessor's table, 3 minutes begin.
Okay. We feel that the subject property has been fair and equitably assessed based on the area's sales, as are the neighboring properties, parcels. The sales show, obviously that the more acreage you have, the better the price per square foot and such is. If they have lower, they're valued accordingly. We listed some of the sales in and around the area, and it shows that the bracketing shows that should be where the 31 cents per square foot should be right where he needs to be according to these other sales. A couple of them are in Lava Ranch. The other is rural property, pretty close to where the subject is. We just feel that where he does have it looks like one or more RV camping spots and that little small shed cabin, that it is usable land. And the sales show that we are getting sales in upwards of 134,000, 83,000, 113,000 for those like properties. So we just ask that the value of 114,806 be upheld for the 2023 assessment year. Thank you.
Okay, any comments on what they said?
Yeah, as I say, there is no shed cabin there, mobile RV trailer type vehicles. And as of comparison to other neighboring properties, this is a mountain dirt road. The landscape varies heavily, and I do believe that other properties should be valued higher than mine. They are more accessible and more usable. Unfortunately, the 8 acres I have, I've been able to make minimal excavation permits to excavate any RV pads to park a trailer, a camper, and leaving 80% of the property unusable on steep grade.
Okay. Question then, on the assessment, you have 14,000 on improvements.
For that little shed cabin that we,
So if it's on wheels, then it's not part of a permanent structure. Is that, I'm just asking, how would you value that if that is not a permanent structure?
well, usually you can't tell from where we're.
And that's why I'm asking, that's why we're
Yeah, so-
talking about this. I mean,
We take the value off if it's on wheels.
We could remove it if it's just on a trailer,
Mobile.
just, it's not a mobile, it's not a manufactured home.
no.
No.
So, yes, we could remove the value. Because if it's just a mobile
Trailer.
trailer, then we're good with that.
That would be my only
Yes,
question on
and,
that.
yeah, it's just, yeah.
Okay. Any questions, commissioners?
It doesn't look like parcel viewer's been updated like last year. Parcel view, we're still looking at last year's data on parcel viewer.
Should be.
We were supposed to have you get access to the new things, and I'm not sure you do have that access, but
There was a flyover on June 6th, so you'd have pictures from June 6th, but it's like an early limited access, so I don't know if you guys have that.
But the values you're looking at
I'm looking
are
at the-
2022.
Okay.
Those are last year's values? Okay.
But I do need to get you access to our new values.
I thought you were going to have access to those.
Yeah, I thought he was
Also.
too. We will get with Heather and get you that.
Okay. And looking at this property, it looks pretty comparable to the other properties that are right next door to it on both sides as far as topography. Actually, your topography, it looks like you have maybe 100 feet, and then it drops off on the back side. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would estimate a maximum of 100 feet up closer to the Deer Creek Road that is the access. And then everything off of that heavily drops down.
Okay.
Even the very neighboring property doesn't drop off as steep as mine. I mean, it would heavily changes in just a matter of a quarter mile. Mine's in a canyon, all at the bottom part.
But you do have a building right on that property.
No permanent structure whatsoever, sir. No. All mobile, all RV type, wheeled, axled, titled.
And that's the same thing
vehicles.
around.
What's that?
All your properties around are the same way. Is that in the
No,
covenants?
neighbors have built cabins up the road and stuff. I have seen cabins being built, but yeah, there would be absolutely no way to build at this time. It would take major excavation to get.
But you would have a building right on that property. Is that correct?
I believe I could.
Okay,
I don't-
that's-
yeah, I don't think there's anything stopping.
I'm not saying you have one.
No, no,
But
I don't
you
think
have the
there's
right
anything
to build on that piece of property.
I believe I have the right,
Okay,
yeah.
that was my
I
question.
think I do, yeah.
Okay.
For the assessor, can you look up a parcel form for me and tell me what you have for it? Parcel number, you ready?
Okay.
RPR 426-100-1904.
RPR 426
Yeah,
100
yep,
1904.
that is correct.
Okay.
What do you have for the land value on that one?
$115,006.
Okay. That particular one that she looked up is this one right here. And it has more usable space than he does. But it's about an acre less. What did you say that value was? 115?
$115,006.
Just looking at it, if we take off the market value and just do the land value, that'd be 100,000 instead of the 115.
I could probably live with that.
I mean, and that's what they got, a permanent structure there. And there's nothing there that would take that value off, in my opinion. Any other comments?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Call for a motion? You want me to make it?
Go ahead.
I'd go ahead and make a motion that we take off the structure of $14,040, which would bring the value to $100,766, which would be the land only. Comments?
Nope.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we just made a motion. We took the value of the $14,000 off. If it's not a permanent structure that you have on there, which they had, but that would put your value at $100,766. That's the opinion of this board. You have the ability to appeal either to the state, or if you so desired, you could go to the courts. But as of this point, you'll get a notice of the adjustment that the commissioners made.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go.
All right. Looks like David and Jerry.
Okay.
All right, please introduce yourselves, and your 3 minutes will begin.
Okay, I'm Jerry Wise,
David Wise.
and this is regarding our property at 574 West Maple. I don't know if you have a copy of a market analysis that I had Kent England come through and do for me, just so I had an idea. And he fell right in where I thought the home should appraise at, or I could sell it for, I should say. The home sits on the parcel by itself. There's two parcels behind it, which some people get a little confused when they drive by. They think that that's all one piece of property, but we pay separate taxes on those two parcels. The home was built by my grandfather. I purchased the home in about 2014, sorry. After my stepfather passed away, I purchased it from my grandfather's estate to give my mother the money to take care of her. At that time, yes, it was my inheritance, but I used the money for my mother. She had dementia, lived with me for 10 years, and I needed to have private caregivers. So, sorry if I get a little emotional. So I've been trying to hang on to the home for the wishes of my family. The home has not been upgraded since my grandfather built the home and moved in 1967. It's got all the original appliances, the toilets are the same, none of that has been taken or changed. The roof was the same exact shingle, replaced about 3 or 4 years ago because of some wind damage. We had some, and the insurance helped me replace the roof. Other than that, the wiring, it's got knob and tube upstairs.
It's
Well-
two-wire Romex.
Right, in the basement, they started to wire it. The basement's not finished.
No groundwater.
It's not habitable. I use it for storage, actually. All my mother and grandmother's stuff is still in the basement. There is a little shower that my grandfather rigged up in the basement, but I wouldn't use the bathroom. It's not, the toilet's not functional, and it's one of those old stalls that you just set up, and he kind of rigged that up so he could go down and take a shower because there's only one bath and a half bath on the main level. It's got a small single-car garage. Anyway, I would hate to be taxed out of the property, which we're getting close to that. You know, I'd like to be able to keep the property in our family, but I really don't feel that the value that he assessed at I know I can't get $450,000 for the house. There's absolutely no way. The wood, the cabinets, there's no way you can put a dishwasher in without gutting the whole entire kitchen because the dishwasher, the counter's too short.
Okay, your time's up.
Okay.
Thank you. Comments, questions?
Just verification on the basement finish. We're showing 590 square feet finished.
No.
So I'm just
How much?
checking.
590.
Yep. All conversations are directed right here, not back and forth, okay?
Just was wanting verification on
Okay,
that.
so, ma'am.
Okay.
Right here. So what is the basement? Any-
Okay, so it's, my grandfather started to put up some, what do you call that, paneling, the old paneling. There's nothing on the floor, there's no carpet, you'd have to put in sheetrock and all that. You can't live down there. I
Okay.
use it for storage, and it leaks. There's a problem with water leaking into the basement. I've got some mold in there, so I'm
Okay.
trying to deal with the mold. Anyway, it's not habitable.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, your 3 minutes begin.
This is a very unique home, two-story, good quality. Looks like it was started to be built in the 40s, but we show it as a 1967 when it was finished. We did look over the market analysis comparables submitted, and most of those were one-level homes, so we chose not to, include those in our comparable sheet. We wanted to go with multi-level, more comparable to the subject. So we have 15 Tulane. It sits on 0.22 acres, like just the home does for that property. It is a split level. It's built in 1964. Has less square footage on the main and upper at 1241. The basement does have a little bit more, as well as having a little bit more finish, as we just found out. It does have a garage, and it sold for $425, but with the time adjusted to January 1, it comes in at $450,500, which makes it $155 per square foot, which the subject is coming in at $138. The subject is, like I said, a two-story, 1967. We're showing between the main and the upper 2,258 square feet. The basement 924. We did show some basement finish for that, and it is currently valued at $450,750. And then we have the second comparable. It's at 1154 El Rancho. It's on about the same size of lot. Again, split level, 1960 build. It has 1,150 square feet between the main and the upper, with 625 in the basement, and of that, 529 was finished. Also has a garage. It sold for $330 for that size of a home, which is a little bit less, but it does have the brick siding and similar like construction to the subject. If we time adjust that to January 1, it comes in at $363,000, which makes the price per square foot $175. Then our third comparable is at 938 Highland Boulevard. Same size lot, just about within a couple feet. This is a little bit older home at 1949. Has 1,800 square feet.
Okay. Any questions about what she just said?
Yeah, my question would be, have you been inside these homes?
Right here. You're talking to me.
sorry.
All the time.
The finish work on the inside of the home. This is not the finish work on the inside of this home. It's plywood for the cabinets. I'm wondering what these other comparables that she's looking at on paper, if she's actually seen the interior of the homes, the condition, what's going on, the bathroom fixtures.
You have been inside of these comparables.
We just looked at the photos submitted to our sales database.
All right, thank you.
Which, that's what my argument is if I sold this home, the first thing somebody's going to come in and say to me is, I need to redo this whole kitchen, I got to redo this whole bathroom. They're gonna try to take the price down right there. So I really feel at 383, what Kent England said, I really feel that's what I felt it was going to come in at. 350 is what I thought. So.
And that's not an official appraisal.
No, it's not.
So that's, I appreciate that he's an expert and stuff like that, but it's not an official appraisal. So we just look at
But it's
the sheet.
expert testimony, though.
Well, yes and no.
Well, it's evidence.
Yeah, he's not here. Anyway,
Right.
the truth of the matter is, a preponderance of evidence. You didn't bring us pictures of anything. You didn't, any of that stuff to validate what you're telling me. But we'll go ahead and have a conversation here.
I should.
Okay?
I think based on what she's telling us, I would recommend that we send her back over to the assessor's office and
Can I
have
make
the
this,
assessor,
I just
Okay,
one more.
nope.
Okay.
This is right here.
Okay.
have the assessor go out and look at it, because my assumption is, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys just see a square footage on the bottom, you don't take into account any conditions. So if it is unlivable, that would impact your assessed value. So based on that, and I'm assuming that you have not walked through this, okay? Based on that, I would remand this back to the assessor to see if they can do a walkthrough to validate the claims and then bring us an adjustment.
And my question is, if you took off the value, the 590 square feet for the basement, what would your value be?
Can you take it to zero then?
Yes.
Okay. I just left our minimal finish for stuff, but let me get that for you really quick.
But again, I go back to the condition of the property, and if the condition is as stated, then that is a preponderance of evidence that we should evaluate, so.
And I agree with that, but that's not presented before us at this time.
Correct.
But
Correct.
If I can, we would even accept pictures if they, if we can't figure out how to get out there together, we would accept pictures. If they wanted to send us pictures, we would be glad to accept that as well. So we could look at that. Just
Okay.
anything showing us what kind of damage or.
So if we take off that basement finish completely, that would bring the value in it. For the improvement, it would bring it down to $369,350 with a total value of $424,350.
okay. So,
Mr. Chair, I'd just make a motion that we remand this back to the assessor and have the appellate send some photographs or whatever, see what they can do to meet with the assessor again and bring it back.
May I say one thing? There's no way you're gonna
No.
be able
Ma'am.
to walk in there?
Ma'am.
Okay.
no, this is a discussion right here, right now, unless we're asking you questions, okay? Thank you. So we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So we will remit this back to the assessor's office. So you can work with them and show them pictures and stuff and see what value they would adjust
Okay.
at that time.
All right.
If you're good with that, that's fine. If you don't want to agree with that, you still have the ability to appeal further.
Right.
All right?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Deaver.
Guess so.
Yeah, the other one didn't show up.
Okay.
But I got a note here, it says that his wife was due any time, and if he isn't here, they're probably having a baby.
It's even worse.
All right, please.
Douglas
announce yourself.
Stever.
And your 3 minutes begin.
Okay, basically, I'll be honest, I'm not gonna dispute what the assessment was. I'm disputing the fact that I have the neighbors that pulled in for an estimated future of 5 to 6 years, is what they've told me, a trailer, parked it and living in it full time. Effectively, I cannot use my master bedroom because at the rear of this trailer is a giant, sounds like a jet engine taking off that they use during the winter to heat the trailer with. It's a 37-foot trailer. And according to Chubbuck, it's completely legal. Noise complaint has gone as far as the prosecutor, and he has just dropped it. He says it's not malice on their part to run a heater in the winter. True, it isn't, but they parked it 10 feet from my bedroom. And it caused a low-frequency vibration literally through the walls. And I don't know if you're familiar with low-frequency vibrations, but that's what was used in Cuba on the embassies. It causes headaches. So I'm forced to sleep in the front bedroom when I don't have company, which granted is not that often, rather than use the master bedroom, except I can use it in the summer because the heater's not going. And it primarily, if you pulled up to my house and wanted to buy it, the first thing someone's gonna ask, is that lived in? If they look at it, it's lived in, because they got chairs, giant 300-gallon propane tank out front, so forth. And it's obviously lived in. Why would someone buy a house with a trailer 10 feet away? Especially when I moved there, it was 20 feet between homes. Now it's 10 feet between a home. And that's what I'm saying, that you can't, I could not sell, I don't even know if I could sell the house today if I wanted to. There are too many houses in the neighborhood that don't have trailers. Now this, who knows, it should expand. Once some person sees it's a great idea, then they may want to put a trailer and rent it too. Now, the strange thing is, people who own a trailer own the house. And their son's living in it. And her statement to me is only way she can see her grandchildren if she stays there in the trailer. until they go to college, I guess, which they're roughly 8 and 10. That's where I'm coming from. It's impossible to sell the house, actually. I mean, compared to other ones, and it immediately dropped my property values, and the city of Chubbuck says it's totally legal. If I was in Pocatello, it would be totally illegal. So, that's all I have to say about
Okay.
it. So I'm easy. I'm easy.
Okay, any comments?
Has he tried to sell in the last year?
No.
No, and he has no interest in selling right now.
Be honest on another thing, I plan on dying in that house, just so you can take me on a bag. So I'm just planning on just dying there. I'm 75 years old. But the people who are gonna inherit the house, my descendants, will have a problem selling it.
Okay, thank you. Your 3 minutes begin.
As you can see, the subject property is at 5635 Eve Street. We've found 3 very comparable properties that all show these bracketed on the very low end of our sales assessment and analysis. I mean, I can empathize with the situation. I just, unless it actually hindered the sale of the property, I don't know. It seems like he's way under most of our sales as is, and we just ask that that value be upheld at $216,784.
Any rebuttal?
Most of the appraisals have been, most of the homes that have sold in that neighborhood in the last 2 or 3 years are farther in. That neighborhood is kind of unique. When you first pull it into, it's an older part. My home was built in '76. When you get further back into, homes were built in the '80s. So I don't remember in the last 4 years any home in that was identical to mine that sold in the older part of the neighborhood. So
Comments, questions from commissioners?
I have a question for the assessor. I noticed that your 3 comparables you list here are all in Pocatello. Could you not get any comparables in Chubbuck, or why did you not get any comparables there?
Finding one-level homes that had sold that were that small. We had to go outside the exact subdivision. So we
So there were
went
no one-level homes sold in Chubbuck?
that are under 1,200 square feet that aren't brand new. It is very difficult to find. Most of them are newer, and they are over 1,300 square feet.
So you're saying there were none that were under maybe 1,500 square feet in Chubbuck sold?
I can't honestly answer that. I'd have to look up on our database and find out.
You know, because one of the main points he makes here, and maybe it's true, I don't know, but he's talking about in Chubbuck you have certain rules and regulations, but in Pocatello this wouldn't be allowed, so that could be a difference.
I can look up the surrounding areas.
Commissioner Huff?
No, I appreciate the concern and the points that he brings up, but for a non-permanent structure that is not on his property and where he hasn't tried to sell it to have any kind of verification on the difficulty with it, I don't know if we can move. And he's not even contesting the value per se, so I'm inclined to hold the value as presented.
Motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion on parcel RPRCPAA 009900 that we uphold the assessor's value as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Nope.
That wasn't an aye. So, all in favor say aye. All opposed
No.
is 1.
Is that okay? Am I
Yep,
doing it right
yeah.
now?
But
Sorry.
it was 2 different votes, I mean,
Gotcha.
is all I'm saying. So, by a vote of 2 to 1, we upheld the value of the property,
okay.
and you also have the ability to appeal to the state
I will.
or to appeal to the.
I'm also filing suit in civil court. Not against you, against them.
Well,
That's what I would encourage, because where it's within those city limits, we can't help you with some of that, but
I think there's got to be some civil litigation that you could do that could help you with that.
Oh, I would hope so, but I don't know. So it'd probably be easier to appeal just to the state. I'll have to sit back and, I gotta call my attorney, trouble, he lives in Montana.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
He's licensed for Idaho, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next we have Mr. Jameson Root. That, like I say, I have a note here that says that his wife was due and he may not make it, but we can evaluate the packet that is before us if there's questions. And this is another one where they're just talking about the value. I'm not really concerned about the value of the home. Well, the value of the home went down $10,000.
Right.
Any comments on this one? And did you meet with anybody on this one, that you know of?
I think we talked to him over the phone. And I just want to reiterate that all the first acres are valued the same. It's all the additional acres that go with it after that make any kind of difference between them and the neighbors, but most of the neighbors are at 86,000 because they have a little bit under an acre and some only have like a half an acre. So his is just valued according to that. And then the sales on the comparable sheet are right in and around that area, and they support and actually show that he's on the low end for the acreage that he has.
Thank you. They was in BOE last year, and we dropped it, what, 24,000 to almost 25,000 last year. And now, we're still not up to last year's original value,
Right.
but comments, questions on this one?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm okay with where we're at, because I think that's consistent.
Ask for a motion.
Mr. Chair, on parcel RP, RRMCM 000900, I make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll be